the elements and all of that. So thank you all. I think I would always continue to thank the graphics team for putting up such fantastic events. I can even see some persons have been reaching out on the site to say, please, we want to collaborate with this graphics team, the YP graphics team, to have such sessions for people. So that's just to say that they joined this session and they saw how valuable it was. And indeed, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Today is going to be bigger and better than last week. So, and I know that my guys are ready. The team is ready to take us further into this graphics design space. So feel free to reach out to your folks that were here last week that are not on the call yet, because we want to manage our time as much as possible. We want to use it effectively to ensure we can cover a lot. And I know we are assigned assignments, so it will be great to also see the fantastic work you did over the week since we had the last session. So feel free to share. Feel free to also ask your facilitators questions, just to ensure that we're all on the same page. Thank you so much, guys. I will be here with in my own little corner and seeing what I can how I can apply all what I would learn today. Thank you so much, and do have a wonderful time. Thanks, everyone. Yes, day one was recorded, and we would share it. We already shared it with those that were in attendance. So maybe when we get attendance for today, we would also share. We'll just add day 2 to day 1 and share and send it via mail to everyone that would attend today's session. Thank you all.
All right, thank you so much for that wonderful remark. Good evening, everyone on the call. My name is Obi, the co-chair of the XPEYP graphics design committee. So hope you can hear me well, and you can also see my screen. So without further ado, the intention of today's class is not to, show slides. I was informed that was done last week, and everyone on the call or those that attended last week, we are thoroughly brought up to speed when with the basic principles, right, of graphics designing. So I won't be doing much of that. I'll just focus on the practical, yeah. And I also believe those of us on the call must have downloaded the software that we use today for that practical. So we intend at the end of today's class, you'll be able to call yourself a professional designer because you've been able to learn last week the core principles of graphics designing, and you've been learning this week how to use a professional tool. And that's all you need to be a graphics designer. You know a professional tool to use, and you know how to apply just this basic principle. And there is nothing more to it. So moving forward on the slide, so the focus of today is just to, take us through how to design on the professional affinity designer software. So at the end of the day, we'll be able to just do a very simple church project. Just one of the projects I've done in the past. I'll just bring it up for us to redesign. And with that, we're taking learnings, right? And see assignments at the end of the training. So I'll be moving on to the next slide. So just to touch a little bit of what I think, because I was not fully in the last class, yeah? So what I think we got taught in the last section. So from the highlights here, we are introduced to graphics design. I'll try as much as to make it interactive. I don't know, I'll need someone to, just run me through what graphics designing, is all about, or what you think graphic design is all about from what you learned in the last class. Right, just one person. So you can raise your hand virtually. Okay, David. David, you can go ahead, please.
It's actually Davida, but from the last class.
Oh, David, sorry.
Yes, from the last class, we learned design is all about solving problems. Graphic design It's all about solving problems. And we learned about elements of design, principles of design, and designing tools.
Okay, thank you very much, Davida. And it will be interesting for us to know that that's virtually all you need, right, to call yourself a graphic designer. If you know the elements of graphic design and you know the principle, so what you're just doing is to apply these principles we learned in the last class and using some graphic design elements to, do something really, really simple and enticing, right? So you are a graphic designer already. You know the elements, you know the principles. If you just know how to apply it, that's basically all you need. So the elements of design might include the lines, shapes, what makes up that design. I know that was properly taught in the last class. Why the principles is the core of design. That is what all graphic designers have at the back of their mind, even before picking up a project. You should be asking yourself questions with these principles of design. Is my design properly aligned? Am I seeing the hierarchy? Is it painting? Is it contrast there? Hope these colors I'm using, they are not too much. The contrast is there. Someone can see the main capture of the design. Someone can see the storytelling you want the design to depict. So that's just all you need as a designer. So it's not all about tools. Of the school of thought that graphic design is not, you can use your Microsoft Word, your PowerPoint that you learned yesterday. PowerPoint is a powerful tool. It has the selection pane. So you can use PowerPoint, you can use any tool. Just have at the back of your mind these elements and this principle of design. So we still have the same goal for all graphic designer, right? So we just intend to solve problems. And with this time around, it's visual communication. You want to just create something that someone will see, and it's to be able to tell story from a distance, right? That someone will see to solve a particular problem, be it brand, be it projects, mega projects, but you should be able to solve problems with it. Imagine SP having an event and SP will now write all our long synopsis and start explaining to people. But with just one flyer that I believe any of us on the call can do from the last class. Someone can just see it from a distance and speak to what the events will look like, especially when that design is captivating, right? So the focus for all designers is just to solve this problem, but this time around with virtual communication. So what we'll be doing today is really, really simple. I'll touch on the graphic design processes. I'll just quickly speak why I personally like Affinity Designer. Even having other tools, at the tips of my finger, the likes of Illustrator, CorelDRAW, Adobe Photoshop, but I still decide to use Affinity Designer, right? So for those of us that have not installed the software, I'll just get us installed the software, and we'll move straight to Affinity Designer to understand the interface and to do a church project. So for those of us on the WhatsApp group, I dropped a zip file. That's just the assets of the church project we'll do today at the end of today. Then I'm expecting you to go back and also do whatever we see at the end of the class to be assignment. So without further ado, I will get started with the graphic design process. So why I want to talk on the graphic design process is very important. So one thing is to know the elements of design. Another thing is to know the principles of design. So now when you have, or for those of us that will join XPEYP graphic design team later, so you'll be having requests like, we have a program coming up, maybe we'll have YP symposium coming up, we need a flyer, this is the caption, this is the date. So what, as a graphic designer, how can you build through to have that final graphics design that you get back to the team and say, this speaks to everything you're asking for, at just a view of this piece of work, it will fully explain what the event will look like and all that. So that's why a graphic designer needs to have a process. If not, you just pack yourself with elements or with principles. But if you have a process, how you build up to the final product, be it program events, be it brand identity, be it logo or whatever you want to design, you just need to have a process that works for you. So I might be talking us through what works for me, right? And how I do my own designing. But at the end of the day, you need to just craft out a better process that works for you. You know, this design stuff is it's marvelous, right? I can remember sometimes, and if I have a design, the first that I have that is I don't have anything on my head. Probably I might be on transit, driving down from work to my house. I might see a big banner somewhere. I'll see, oh, look at what I'm taking from this design. When I go home, let me try and tweak it. So before you know, you come up with something, right? So you're all creative. So you don't have something to work with. Like, you want to build up what is unique that is not existing anywhere in the world. So you need to have a process. So I'll quickly talk us through the process. Then we'll go to Affinity Design software, where we'll explain the interface and as fast as we can build up a project. So I want to keep this class maximum 5 to 5 p.m. Because I have one or two other things to do. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing I do as a designer, right, is to gather informations, you know, as much as you can. So frame might come to you, for those of us that are joining YP design team. So frame might come to you and say, we need AYZ design. Don't stop there, right? They had to give you a brief, you know, what's this event all about? You know, who are the intended audience? What is the expectation of this event? What are people to, what will people learn? Or you understand that kind of thing. So it's not just for program, right? Even it speaks to product. So you need to fully understand what the person or what the audience you are building your design for, right? What they want. And you can't achieve that if you don't collect as much information as you can at the time that design was requested. If it's a company, ask about the company, what is your vision, what is your goal? If it's a voluntary activity, ask about the program. Is there any other, is there a synopsis, you know, is there any other, or is there any other information you can gather? So those information finds a way to sink in your subconscious, right? So anytime you're designing, you're having it at the back of your mind, that these information is what my design must speak to. So it goes a long way to help you. So collect as much, ask as many silly questions and good questions as you can ask the person or the customer or the organization asking you to build up a design. Don't just stop when they tell you, build up a design for me. Don't stop there. Ask for a brief if it's a voluntary activity or you just create one for yourself. So it goes a long way to help you and to make your design really, really easy when it gets to your tool. So the next is the research phase of it, right? So this is where the magic happens, right? This is where you open up yourself, you research. You know, you don't narrow yourself in a very micro space, right? So you go out to research. You know, you bring out keywords from whatever you are asked to do. You go to the web. Some of the logos I have here are some places I can, you know, pick up inspiration. So at the research phase, what they are doing is to look at, you know, what people has done in the past. Is very good for a designer. I don't know, I wouldn't say we are thief, right? But we are not thief, but learning from the book, one of the book I would advise us to read, Stay Like an Artist, right? So this design thing is more of being creative, you know. So that book taught me that when you bring up a design and you try and replicate that design, that's you trying to steal from that design, and you can be charged for maybe copyright or whatever. But when you have like 20 designs on your mood board, right, and you're looking at that 20 designs to create one thing that is unique, you are doing research. You are not copying anybody's work. So most times we don't sit within our space in our mind, you know, you understand, to just sit down on your computer, spend hours disturbing your brain, trying to get up a design. No, expose yourself, throw yourself out to the search, right, to the search world. Use your Google, use your free pick, whatever you can get inspiration from, if it's on your TV, sometimes it might be on your parlor. So the inspiration comes from anywhere, right? But make sure before you even set up your graphics tool or even open your graphics tool to have done as much research as possible. As you're doing this research, you are compiling whatever you have in a mood board or in whatever you feel comfortable with. So the process is how you get comfortable coming up with a design, right? So as you're researching and you're getting inspirations, you're seeing good works, you're seeing bad works, you are seeing what you think, is nice, that be picking all of them, sometimes before you come up with a design, sometimes before you, sorry, someone called me, right? So sometimes before you come up with a design, most times I might have had 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12 design sitting where I can be seeing all of them at the same time. And what are you picking from this design? You are picking the principles of design that we applied on those respective design. So when I mean by principle of design, you're not looking at the design to get or to replicate exactly what you're seeing on the design. No. So what they are doing is to extract the principles of design used on that artwork, right? We all know these principles from the last class. So when you see a design, you look at how is the layout, what color combination do they use? Did they use repetition? How do they apply their hierarchy? Wow, this font is nice. So you'll be looking at those elements and those principles, not trying to replicate exactly. So those principles will help you. Imagine you go on a design, you have the layout, then another design, you're seeing a wonderful combination of fonts, right, to form that hierarchy or that virtual hierarchy. Yeah? So you combine all those stuff. So in your research phase, you are picking out different principles of design from different design you've seen or you've thrown yourself out to. So some of these tools here would help you do that, right? We use Freepik most times. Pinterest should also be there, but I didn't put it. So Google. Recently, I even use ChatGPT, right? I use ChatGPT to ask ChatGPT, how can I come up with a young professional program? ChatGPT will give you inspirations, make sure it is, make sure it is that. So you combine all those stuff as a designer to get as much inspiration as you can before you even touch your application. So the next thing we do is to to build a plan, right? So you just have this very simple. You just have a schedule of very essential step, how you do your things, what you think should start first. You understand what can I build up and when can I do this. So most time this comes for professional projects, right? So when you have a project maybe from Fiverr, from companies, you want to build up a plan to show them that this is when I will achieve this on XYZ date. I'll be doing this. So a plan guides the whole process. So you know what to do and when to do that. Then the next thing we do is to you start building your design concept, right? So you start building your design concept. So here you've gathered enough information from the owners of or who requested for the design, doing your collection, your collection gathering, right? So you've gathered that information there. You've also gathered enough information from your research. You have a plan. So now is the time you even open your software to start implementing. You have what you are looking at, and at this point in time, you've had you literally know the way to go. You know what to do. You just to go on your software and implement, right? So at this time, you're building different concepts. You are doing your drafts. You're making adjustments. So mind you, you might want to achieve a particular design, especially maybe a logo design. So you might want to do a logo design, and you have to do like up to 10 to 11 drafts, especially when you are designing for a top company. So these drafts goes a long way to help, right? So just make sure you have as many drafts. It might always look bad from the first trial, But when you have couple, maybe 2, 3, 4 drafts, from it you have something unique. You know how to merge it, keeping these principles and elements at the back of your mind. So you come up with something. So at this stage, that is where I had to, open my Affinity Designer, my Adobe Illustrator, whatever tool I want to, Canva, whatever tool I want to use for the design. So this is when I actually open it, start my layout and start doing something, having all the research I've done and all the collection I've done at the back of my mind. So when you're done with this, you are good to go for production, exporting, printing, banners, at this point, what just left for you to know is how am I going to print, what will be the final output of my design. Am I going to, leave it at Corel draw format if I'm printing, or am I exporting it as Excel? Who is consuming it, and what output is your client or the requester is expecting you to, produce your format? So at this point, you are done with your design. You've checked your drafts. From different drafts, you've had a very unique design that you think is unique, that tells a story, that solves the problem that you researched for. At this point, you just try to put it in the last format that the users or the requester will consume. So at this point, you are really, really done with your design. So what does this whole process tells us, right? They are not laws, they are not principles. They are something we need to, work on ourselves and, know what works for you. But these stages are very, very necessary. You must make sure you have a very solid background of what you want to work on. You must make sure you've done your research. You must make sure you have a plan and build up separate drafts, and get your final unique. So whatever tool you want to use in each of this process is just for you to decide. Doing the research phase, some people use mind mapping to brainstorming to brainstorm the keywords. Then from the keywords, they go to Google to search. Then from the search to Google, they go to free stock websites, free vector websites. I believe you guys have learned about this in the last class, right? So we know what is vector, we know what is raster. So we believe you can go to these websites and pick up these things, pack them together, and create a very unique design for yourself. So just be building on this on this class, while understanding the interface of Affinity Designer. So the next thing here is for me to go to Affinity. So at this point, I can take question here before we go to the design to use the next 30 minutes to come up with the design. So I don't know whether I'm permitted to take question here or when we are done with the whole class. Offer.
Yes, please take questions.
All right, thank you very much. So guys, you know how we do this. You can use the comment section. You use C for comments, you use Q for questions.
We even allowed them to speak on last week, so feel free to come off mute and ask your question.
You guys are professional designers now, and I want one of you to be in our wife for those of us that are XPE members, right? So after this class, we expect you to voluntarily join us. So we can use this skill set and work for YP, right? Voluntary action pays. It's not in the scope of this class, to tell you how I started and how XP has been very, very instrumental to my growth as regards design. So guys, if you have questions, please feel free to unmute and ask directly, so we can proceed.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so I'd like to find out, why are you actually using Affinity Designer as your preferred software to the toolkit for this design? I mean, there are other common software tools like Illustrator, Photoshop, CorelDRAW. Is there any special thing, or is there any edge that Affinity has over other softwares? I'd like to know here.
All right. Okay, that's fine. So for me, I always narrow down these design stuff to personal choice. What works for you. Canva can work for you. Any other design tool can work for you. In the industry, what people are looking forward to is the output of the design. No one knows what to use to design a JPEG. No one knows how you came up with your brochure, right? So they're seeing this output. But why Affinity works for me most, or why I use it most, not that I don't use Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop, CorelDRAW. I have other software, but why Affinity works for me most is I find a way to have my assets arranged, very much better in Affinity. So like I can see where I have my logos. I can see where I can get my icons. When we go on the software, you see. But it's just what works for you, right? I will have very valid reasons to, say the Adobe applications at this time is more professional and is well known in the industry than Affinity Designer. But Affinity Designer works for me better than any of those applications, right? And that's why I use it. So nothing spectacular and nothing technical related that I can say that Affinity has or start comparison or the likes. No. So it's just what works for me. And I can only teach what works for me, right? So thanks. But I know in the next class, I'll have a powerful Adobe guy coming up on stage to, handle the last phase of the class. So we'll learn a lot of Adobe related applications on that class. But for this class, guys, let's go with new knowledge and let's stick to Affinity, So thanks. Hope that answers the question. So I can take one more question.
Yes, just to add, that's a very good answer also. And Ikena, that's the message we've been passing across since the first session about the tool not being the most important thing for designers on their journey. Everybody can have their fave, but the tool is not as important as knowing the principles and elements. You can use any tool to achieve the same results, and no one would, your clients, people you're going to be doing projects for, would never ask you what tool you're using. So the principles you'll be learning from today's tool, Affinity, would definitely be applicable to Photoshop. They have similar interfaces and principles. So like you said, in the next session, we'll also have trainings on Photoshop. So it's a plus for those that also want to see how other tools work. Yeah.
All right, thanks for that, Daniel. So on the chat, I have a question. How do you decide the colors you use in design? And basically, where do you get color inspiration from? Okay. Color is another thing a designer just needs to learn, because when you have the wrong color combination on your design, it goes a long way to mar the final product. So what I do with colors is I have a strict rule for myself, and one of them is at every design I must stick with at most 3 colors, right? 3 colors, and in those 3 colors, one will be my primary color, that will just be everywhere. One will be more like a secondary, right? That will have in the 30% of the design. So I group mine into 60, 30, 10%. Then the 30%, we just give me that hierarchy feel. Why the 10% is where we'll have striking values, right? So sometimes I use red for that, where I know I need to show this information. I need anybody jumping on that design to see this color. But for the background and majority, I can use the one of 60%. Then we'll have in the graphic design world, so we'll have what we call color harmony, right? That should be taught in your last class. Color is part of the elements that should be taught. So have color harmony. So on those color harmony, you have different color schemes, right? That you can use. It's not in scope of this training, but when we go to Affinity, I'll show you what a color wheel looks like, and how you can get this color combination. But a good place to go. Let me just go to that side. So So a good place to go is I always go there to you can just search Adobe Colors, right? So in Adobe Colors, you see a lot of good color combinations. Extract your you can extract your color palettes from there. Just see very good, wonderful combination. But just feel free, the design what is, you're always free. Just feel free to make your choices, what you think works for you, right? And having the color harmony is what you need to learn, right? So having that color harmony at the back of your mind, you can make better choices. Nobody is pointing a gun on your face, right? So that's it. So most times I just go out there, go to Adobe, extract color. So color.adobe.com. So I use that a lot. I'll extract color palettes that I'll use throughout the design process. So you can just explore after the class. So I would like to jump on to the application. I don't know how many of us here have the Affinity Design application, but if you don't have it, that's fine. You can use the PowerPoint you learned yesterday with the assets I dropped on the chart. Just build up something similar for yourself. So on that asset, the images I would use quickly for these trainings are there, and just for us to make good use of it, and let's come back to the final product. So I'll be going straight up to my designing software. So I've already opened mine, right? So please confirm you can see my Affinity Designer software. Oh. All right, thanks. So guys, hope we have our own open, right? Do we have ours open?
Yes.
All right, thanks. So I want to see if you have yours open, I want to probably see your hands up virtually. So I need to be sure I'm not speaking to myself and I'm not training myself. But if you don't have that open and you have Illustrator or PowerPoint, it's still fine. So how many of us have downloaded the asset folder from the WhatsApp group that have the images of what we just need to use for our design today? Any of us? Okay, that's fine. So guys, we are starting.
There's a question on the chat. How do I run a WinRAR file?
Okay. So for the WinRAR file, you download it from WinRAR website. Make sure it's the English version. So on downloading it, you just need to, click. There should be a setup file somewhere, but I know it's self-explanatory. So if you download it, you open the folder, click the setup file, and within a minute max, you should be able to run WinRAR on your computer. It's very important because most design software will come in RAR files and you need to extract them with WinRAR before installing them on your PC. So if you're having any issue with that, just reply on the chat so Daniel can help you through that process. So thanks. So guys, this is the Affinity Designer. Part of why I like it that I mentioned is these my assets, right? So I like seeing my icons, that I can quickly reuse for designs, my dividers, my seal. So it's fine. It has a way to, make my assets just to be very, very easy for me to pick for. So that's part of the things I like it for. So we start from the scratch. I'll start by creating a new project, then walk us through some of the tools, not all the tools, because if you have to go into details, right, we will stay in this class for more than 2 hours. So I'll just create a new project, and we'll focus on the project we want to design today. And I'll speak to some of the popular tools that you can also see on other design software. Then walk us through the interface, and I'll start designing. So for you to open a new project, right? So you have this file on the tab. I don't know how I'm seeing this thing here. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm seeing these things recording here. Okay, that's fine. So you have the file tab. So when you click your file tab, you see new, right? So let's do a new project. Then from there, I'll quickly walk us through the interface and start designing. So how many of us have clicked new? So just like any other software, right? You always have to, create a project, select.
Sorry, Otto.
Yeah, can you hear me, Daniel?
Yes, sorry to interrupt you. Someone's asking for a brief introduction of the key tools that will be useful before you dive in.
Okay. Let's create a project, right? So on the interface, I'll explain. But the tools will need majorly the move tool, the shape tool, and maybe the fill tool or transparency tool. So I'll explain all those things when we start. So let's just focus on creating a new project now. So when we get into the platform, I will also explain all this stuff. All right. So the first thing I do here is to select the layout of my project, right? So most times I would have to, I have to change these documents units to pixel. Sorry guys, I know some of us have MacBook, but my PC is kind of slow. So I'll always change it to pixel, and for this project, let's use 3000 pixel. Are you serious? Okay, everyone, I can be taking your question at the moment. So my design to just crashed. I'm trying to bring it up again. So if we have questions, we can drop on the chat while I respond to those questions. So for Wera is the paid. Yes, it's a paid, but the free version is down their site. Yes, and you can just download it and install and start using that on the go. You don't have to put any license key. So once you install it, you can start using it. Then for Affinity Designer, yes, for the link I shared, it will lead it to the cracked version of the application, and you'll be able to download it and install it and start using it immediately. All right. So guys, let's hang on a minute or two. Let me get the software up again. Thank you. Yes, please, you can use Illustrator or any other software you wish to. Okay. Please, don't repeat what's happened. All right, guys, so we'll go back to creating a new project. So all software has this, right? So before you start up a project, so why this pin is very important is you know what you're designing for. If you're designing a banner, if you're designing a flyer, if you're designing a logo, right? You know what you're designing for. And so what you just do here is to impute the size. So for this project, I'll be using 3,000. Let me just do 3,000 by 3,200 pixel. Right. So you can use any size as you deem fit. You can use any units in millimeters, centimeters, just to start up a project. So the next important thing here is your orientation, right? You decide whether it's going to be a landscape or portrait. For this project, I will select a portrait because what you want to design will be in portrait format. So that's all I do just here. And then the color format, I'll keep it to RGB because I'm designing for a mobile consumption, right? So if you're designing for a digital platform consumption, so most time we stick to RGB. But when you're designing for print, because the printers understand CMYK color scheme. So most times if you're designing for print, you stick to CMYK. But if you're designing for maybe social media and the like, so RGB is still there for you. So I'll select RGB.
I can't hear uncle again.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I was speaking to a muted mic. So sorry. Can anyone hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. So the next thing I do here is after selecting the color format, right, is just to select my margin because I must work with margin. So margin gives me that background. So just for this project, I'll select 10 millimeter for everything. So I have the square margin. So I remember I changed the unit to millimeter, then I came to the margin here to select it. So I think I'm done setting up the project for myself. So I'll click create. So please, we hope you understood to this level, right? So why I took us through this creating project phase is because it's the rudiment for all professional application. Illustrator, you have to create a project, and when you're creating that project, these things I spoke to are basically what you've been starting for those projects. The size of the Canva, right? Or the size of what you want to do. Let's just use it like that. And then imagine for yourself, and whether it's portrait or landscape. And that's just all you need to set up the project. So have a project, a white background. Yeah.
Okay, I can't seem to, my crate is not highlighted. I can't seem to create. I don't know what I'm getting.
Your crate is not highlighted.
Yes, it's like gray that even after doing the settings.
Wow. So can you drop a screenshot on the WhatsApp chat? I'll refer to that and just see exactly what you're trying to explain.
Okay, maybe I didn't follow you very well, so
Yes. Could you just run through those steps again? Please.
Okay, I'll do that.
You did some stuff and then you had to reopen your system. So I forgot what you did before you reopened the system.
Okay, I clicked File, then New. Then I selected.
Sorry, where is New?
New is under File. So on the tab here, tab, the first tab, you see File, Edit, Text, Layer. Are you not seeing the same options?
I'm seeing the file. It's the New I'm looking for.
So when you click the file, can't you see New?
Oh, New, yes, I can. So your own came out with A0, A1, A2. Mine is only showing A4.
No, I think our interface is not showing exactly the way his own is showing.
Okay, yes. Sorry, I didn't mention that. So I'm on a lower version of the application, and the one I asked us to download was the latest version. For some reason, my system can't run that one because of it's low in terms of RAM and hard drive, right? So you can't run that one. That's why I'm sticking to this version. But I have that, just that I can't run it at the moment, and I'll have to teach us with this. But the thing is, they are similar. You should be seeing similar interface, right? But the main thing is where you insert the size of your project. So, but the problem now is you can't create the project, Kelechi.
I can't create, yeah.
Wow, that's serious. Have you shared a screenshot on the WhatsApp chat?
Yes. I don't know, maybe the settings, I don't remember.
Can any other person create a project on Underscore using Affinity, please? Let's know whether I can isolate it to Kelechi.
Not me. I can't. I just downloaded so and I just realized it's not.
The crate is not showing.
Is grayed out.
Let me see. Okay, let me check the screenshot on the chat. Wow.
So did you do settings for all the tabs like layer, color, margins, bleed, and scale? I don't know.
No. It doesn't. Even when you don't set anything, it should allow you to create.
Is to create. Okay.
It should allow you to create. I don't know why this is happening now. So who created? So this is on is this Affinity or Illustrator? I can see a second screenshot here. Okay, that's on Illustrator. Okay, that's fine. Oh, so this is serious. Daniel, what do you think? We need to troubleshoot this, but not on this call. I don't know whether I can go ahead.
Has anybody been able to create? If anybody has been able to create, maybe.
Yes, someone has.
Most important thing.
Yeah, someone has created an Illustrator, but not
No.
Affinity.
I mean using the tool. We just confirm if anybody can do that using Affinity.
Can anyone on the call create a project, please?
Do I need to sign in to the app?
When I downloaded mine, this version, I was not triggered to sign in.
I don't think they need to sign in. Maybe it's the setup process. We can just take 10 minutes, let someone share the screen and show how they set it up. I don't know the installation file, if they have to crack it. Maybe it's not cracked and it's not allowing them create a project because it's still on the original version.
Maybe we should just go on with the class so we don't hold others back.
Yes.
Is anybody using the Affinity like that? Is anybody able to create? That's what we want to know now. So.
I'm only seeing the page.
So Jerry, how did you install yours? Did you have to crack it or you just installed it and opened it?
I just installed it and opened it. It just installed straight. It asks for any crack, but I think right now you need to sign in before you.
Also, is that the right step? Are they supposed to just install and open it and no other to replace any file or anything?
From the version, is getting to PC now. So from that version you downloaded, there is no cracked file, right? Just to install it, and you should be able to use it on the go. You understand that? Quite surprised that's not happening now. So guys, I don't know how we can do this now, but I think we should.
Yeah, just go ahead. The show is being recorded, so yeah, it's a recorded session, so they can watch it.
Exactly. Okay, so on the interface, right? So we just start designing. So we learn when we start inputting all these different elements on the Canva. But for the important tools, right, as I mentioned, so one of them is the move tool. So the move tool is used to move different elements of the design. So I'll quickly create a rectangle.
Sorry, Otto.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Another fix for those that are having the issue is they can, instead of trying to create a new project, they can try and open a picture. And so if they get to the interface, open a picture, they can now delete the picture and just put a white background. So it's go to file and open instead of going to file and new, and then open a random picture, just so you can get to so you can see this interface he has.
All right, thanks for that, Daniel. So they can try that.
So when we download the picture, we delete it, or what?
No, don't download any picture.
No, sorry, when we open a picture, what do we do next?
Yeah, so as he opened, I just want to
Yes.
confirm that you can get to this, so you can see everything you have on the screen right now. The tools
Yes,
at
it's
the
a bit
left and right
different
hand.
because of that, but
The
yeah.
version. Okay, that's not important. So maybe also you can then show them how to have a white background from this point. Maybe they can put a white rectangle or something, or change the canvas size.
We are there able to open to land to the tools page.
I can see what is on your right, the color swatches, strokes, and broods.
Okay,
but the left assets too, I'm not seeing it. I have pictures, small icons.
Okay. Don't worry about for the assets, right? You need to go to view. So part of what I don't want to focus on, but that's fine. So you need to go to view. Under view, open your studio, right? That's where you have to check. You see assets there. So when you check it, you see that pin come up. But that's not part of the thing I want us to focus on. I just want us to focus on the basic tool and then get the church project design, and we'll do that flyer. And so every other thing we can be learning from the charts, ask questions. If I should go into details, right? I don't think the time frame for this training will be enough for that. So, but if you go to the view pane and you click your studio, you should be able to check the assets, right? So you'll be seeing the assets pane on your board too. So if you can do that, you can tell me. But I'm not expecting you to see all this stuff on your assets because I added this on myself. So you just see the default assets that comes with the application, right? All right, thanks for that. So the first tool I mentioned here that is very important in all application, Illustrator or what have you, and we also use that on this training, is the move tool. So as the name sounds, the move tool is just for you to be able to move your elements around. If you have two of these, so if you have two of these, you can, holding control, select, holding shift, you can select the two and move them around. So that's why it's called move to. You can use it to move different elements you have on your design around. So that's a very powerful tool. So the next I would want to speak on is the shape tools. So on the tools pane, you'll be seeing the rectangle, the circle, and the tier tool, right? So this shape tool just used to create shapes. So most times in designing, we use a lot of shapes, right? We use a lot of shapes to create hierarchy, to create our background and the like. So we've been needing a lot of it. So these tools are there to help you. You have the rectangle, you have the circle, and you also have a rectangle that have curved edges. So you can use this tool to create them. The third one I want to also speak to is the the type 2, right? So with the type 2, you create text. You remember what we did on PowerPoint using text boxes. So on Affinity, you do that with the artistic text tool. So under this type, we have two of them. So one is the artistic text tool so just hope we are with me. So if you click the artistic text tool, you can click anywhere on your Canva and start typing text. And if you click the drop down there, you'll be able to select the frame text tool. So the frame text tool is just similar to what we have on our PowerPoint as text boxes. So it opens up a text box space for you. And in that space, you can type in your text, right? In that space, you can type in your text. So these are just the measures that I want to speak to on this class, right? So we have a couple of them. We have the vector tool, we have brush tool, but we'll go into that details for this class. So just stick to these basic tools. Know how we can use them to create our projects or design on Affinity. Then learn how to export them to the final format that will be shared to our clients. Please give me a minute to respond to something. Thank you.
Yes, so while we wait for Otto to be back, I see someone will try the file and open option and it works. Can you confirm that same thing worked for you, Jerry, and another person that was trying to do the same?
Okay, the file open option.
Yes, the file and open instead of file and new.
Okay.
And then maybe you can open one of the assets that we sent for the session.
All right, thanks, Daniel, for stepping in. I have to respond to something urgently.
No
So
problem.
I've taught us the move tool. I've also showed us how we can locate the text tool and how we can use the shapes. So for this two, we'll stick to this three. So the next place I'll take us is how to handle colors, right, in Affinity. So both the text and the shape we are seeing on the screen can be called elements, right, of graphic design. So the next is how can you handle the color? And I remember when the color question came in, how I make choices of the color. So on Affinity is very good at this. So these rights pane where we have the colors. You can see the color, have the swatch, have the stroke, have the brushes. But let's just stick to colors, right? So on the color, you can see your color wheel at the foot. You'll not be seeing the slider. So you can see your color wheel at the foot. So this is the color wheel we use to make color selection, right? So I can have different shades of a particular color. On selecting anywhere on the wheel, I can change the color of the elements. Your elements can be a text, it can also be shape. So on the color wheel, I can, if I select any color, you see it, impact on the shape. And from the selection itself, I don't know whether we are taught in the last class. We have what we call strokes, right? We have what we call strokes. And on PowerPoint, I think we call it on PowerPoint outlines. So outlines are kind of the border of that element, right? So for Affinity, we call it stroke. And for you to select the color of a particular stroke, you see this where my mouse is, you see there is a color behind it. So when I select the one behind it, it has opened me up to select the color of the stroke. I'll just select maybe orange and try to increase the width of the stroke, so we can see it. So to increase the width of the stroke, I will just where we are seeing the color, the swatches, the stroke, I can just come here and increase the width, right? So you can see the width of the stroke, you know, as I'm dragging the slider, right, the width gets increased. So strokes are very powerful too. We also use in designing, maybe for hierarchy or for anything you want to use it for. So that's for color, and this is where we select color. Still talking deep into color, there is what we call color schemes. So as a designer, you should be able to get acquainted with at least two of these schemes, right? So we have RGB. So RGB stands for, I think, red, green, and blue, right? And we also have CMYK. I told us at the introduction that RGB is being used for digital designs. If you're designing for social media or for maybe desktop and mobile phone consumption, but if you're designing for print, we stick to this CMYK. That should be cyan, magenta, yellow, and it should be like black or something. So these are the two well popular color schemes we use in design. So that's it for color, guys. And this year will select color. So I'll also talk us through my layouts and what is very important for me when designing. And we can see this ruler here, right? If the ruler is not on your design, to get it out, you go to view, right? Go to view and make sure your show ruler is on. So you know, you can't talk of designing without alignment, and this ruler goes a long way to help us. So how does it help us? On a simple click and drag of the ruler, I can get you know, a straight line on my Canva, you know, that I can use and align my shapes to. And it makes work very, very easy for me. So anything I want to align, I can pull both the vertical ruler and the horizontal ruler.
This video.
Properly align them there.
See him again.
I can't hear you. Hello, Daniel. Okay, so having said that, guys, let's learn more with the projects, right? Let's not just be speaking. So on the projects, we'll learn things like how to, you know, use shape, insert images to shape, you know, do your masking and all that. So I know we all have the assets, and for those of us following through practically, you can download the assets on the chart. So this is what we want to achieve. So I'll quickly get that on the chart. So this is what we want to achieve. We want to build this flyer. So this is a church flyer, right, that I built I think some months back. So we just have to use it and educate. So we learn from this. It's a movie right here. All right. Okay, so the first thing I do when I get this type of design is the background, right? So for the background I use, let me zoom in so So for the background I use, I also attach it. Let me close this assets thing, so I have much room to work with. This, this screen like this. So for the background I use, we have it on the assets folder. So I'll just go there and copy it to the design.
How did you bring in the picture and then still have this white table, white?
Okay, you're asking how I brought it in and still have the white.
Yes.
So the picture is what we want to achieve.
Yes.
You understand? Then this white is my design layout. Remember when I was selecting sizes, portraits, and the like. So that's what this white. So this white is like my Canva. So this is where I do my design on. But every other place on the application, I can bring in elements, maybe your inspirations or what you want to do towards to extract color from, to get your layout from. But this white background they're seeing is my design, is a Canva, right? So this is where all my design, all the elements goes in. While everything outside this white background is just what I want to add, maybe to look at or to use it later in course of the design. You understand? But this is where the design itself goes to.
Okay, because we use the workaround of importing picture to start our project. So we just have the picture.
Okay. So what you do if you have the default picture, try deleting that picture. Have you tried that? So select the picture. Can you select it?
Yes, it now leaves a checkered background.
Okay, that's fine. So for you to have this white background, so you click on the tools that I've taught you, right? So you click the rectangle tool, then drag it to cover that checker background. So if you drag it to cover that checker background and make sure the color is white, so it will still give you this white background. You know, there are many ways to figure out. So any way you come up with your background is fine.
Okay.
There is no stretch rule, yeah. So once you drag, select your rectangle. So drag it across. Oh, sorry, I have my stroke here. So select your rectangle as I did. So drag it across to cover that checker. You know, make sure it's white. So it will give you this white background and you'll be as good as myself. All right. Have you done that? Okay, so the next thing I'll do here is to go to my assets and pull in everything I want to work with. So learn a lot from this project. We'll learn how to extract an image that has a background and also how to work with images and pictures. I don't know why my team is doing.
So we drag and dump onto.
Yes, so you drag and drop onto an empty space. So if it's covering your design layout, just make sure you clear it off there by reducing the sizes. That's what I'm doing now. So I have this already. So reduce the sizes. So you have very free design layouts where you can start building up your designs. So the next thing I'll do is to take my background. This is what I want to use as my background. So I'll take it and insert it on the design layer. So I'll just try to adjust it to feel. So I'll just try to adjust it to feel the design background. But I want us to quickly do something for those that are following me with Affinity, right? So I don't actually like seeing the extension of what is in my design. It creates this rough design, rough design layouts kind of. So what I want us to do is there is a tool we call the Artboard tool just below the move tool, right? So click on that tool, hold and drag it on your design layout. So it will create an artboard for you. I'll have done this. So you can see, even if the image is extended, I'll just be seeing it inside the artboard. So anything that is not in this artboard, will be outside. So we will have a very detailed environment to work with. So I've inserted the background on my image Canva. So what I want to do to make it look like what we want to design is to reduce the opacity, right? Opacity is similar to transparency on the PowerPoint layout. So if I want to reduce the opacity of these, so if I want to reduce the opacity of these particular elements, this is the background, this is the only thing placed on our design environment, right? So if I want to reduce the opacity, I'll come down somewhere here on where I'm seeing the layer. I know you can see the layer with me. So on that layer, you just see where there is opacity, right? So I will click the drop down and I'll reduce the opacity to where I think it's comfortable for me. All right, I think it's fine here. So another thing I will do here is to lock down the layer. So why do we lock down a background, right? So for tools you don't want to be movable, you don't want to mistakenly move them. Like when you are done creating your background for this particular project, I'm literally done with my background. So this is what I want to achieve. So I'll go and lock that image. So it's not movable. So when I want to move another element, I'll not mistakenly move a background I'm done creating, right? So how to do this is still selecting that image. Just make sure it's selected. You see kind of a padlock sign, where I selected the opacity, right? So you see a padlock sign where I selected the opacity. So you can easily, you can just select that. You can just select that, and that particular element is locked. So I can no longer move it. I can't even select it to move it out of this design environment. So guys, this is our background. So we've done a bit of the work. So created a background and we'll start adding other elements to it. So the first element I have here is the logo, right? The Anglican Church logo. So it's part of the assets. So I'll just bring it in and make sure it snaps to, it snaps to the top left. It snaps to the top left of my margin. I just want to increase the size a little bit. I think that they're quite similar, right? So that's it for the logo. So I have a logo, and we'll have some tests after the logo that I want to write. Remember what I taught you about the type 2, the 2 types we have on Affinity. We'll have the artistic test, and we'll have the test frame. So the difference between the two is that the artistic test works like, you select the test, and you can easily adjust. Let me select it again. Sorry. I don't know why they don't select. All right, so this is the artistic test tool. So the difference is the artistic test tool, I can drag it and write a test. Being on my move tool, I can reduce it, I can expand it, I can do whatever I want to do with it. But the test frame tool, you just have it like a text box, right? So when you type your text there, you can't just reduce it. So as you're reducing it, you can see it aligning in the text box, right? So most times we use this test tool or this test frame. I normally use this test frame where I just want to have information together. But for the main caption, or when I want to design the type for the main caption, I normally use the artistic test, the artistic test, yeah. So for the write-up after the logo, you can see it somehow in a text box. So we just have that here. Don't forget your alignment is very key. So have that. So hope we know how to zoom, because I know you can be seeing my screen going up and down. So if you are using your mouse, right, you can hold down Control and the scroll button, right, and the scroll button, sorry, to zoom in and zoom out. Or you use the last tool on your tool screen, right, which is the zoom tool. You can see the zoom tool. So when you click it, you can zoom in. And so if I click it now, I can click to zoom in. So I can click it to zoom in, and holding your Alt key, right? Holding your Alt key, it turns to minus, so you can also zoom out. So it's very important. Most times you zoom in to see the details of what you've done, and you zoom out to see how it looks from you want to get the general look of everything. So just go forward to type what is in this test. So here I have Diocese of Niger Dam panels. So not to waste our time, I'll go to the main design I've done. I'll just copy the test there. So feel free to type, whatever you want to type there. So to do your copy and paste, still the same shortcut syntax, right? Your Control C is for copy and your Control V is for paste. So what I've done now, you can see the red line, So what I've done is to make sure my image and my text box is center aligned. I know we have taught the different types of alignment. You can see because everything is placed at the left, I make sure my text are all left aligned, and they are all on the same vertical line. They are well left aligned. Then for the interaction of the text and the image, I make sure it's properly center aligned. But similar to what we learned on PowerPoint, using the alignment alignment function on PowerPoint. So we have the same thing on Affinity Designer, right? So if I don't want to move around to align this stuff, using the guides, right? Using the guides, I can just select one of these elements, and holding down Shift, I can select the other one. Then I come here on my alignment button. You can see when I hover over it, you see it alignment. So on alignment, you can align horizontally, you can align vertically. Alignment is very, very key, because if the elements on your design are scattered, it doesn't really look right. And for what I want to achieve now, I want both of them to be vertically aligned together at the center. So you can see when I click, let me undo it. So when I clicked the vertically aligned, you can see how it automatically aligned at the center. So I wouldn't have to be using the guide, but most times the guide makes, I'm sorry, I didn't click OK. So most times the guide makes things very easy for us. So apply, that's how it vertically aligned. So we are done with the logo. But I know those following me on the call must have also done this. So the next thing for us.
Sorry, Otto.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, can you show them how to resize the artboard? For some of the people that use the hack, they have a smaller artboard, so it sort of crops out their image.
How to size the artboard?
To resize.
Okay, so if you've used this artboard, right? If you've used this artboard, what you can do is to click on where you have your artboard. It will be selected already, right? And you can resize it anyhow you want. You can resize. You can. So that's just it. So click on the artboard and just use the borders to resize it. So to get a particular size for yourself, you can use the flyer we are trying to replicate. Maybe build it up to a certain extent and put down your artboard and find a way to make it fit into the flyer or whatever you have. But resizing the artboard is quite really easy, and that's just all you need to do. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, so we are done with the logo, right? And the next thing we have to do is to the main caption. So this is a white night concert, rather. So perhaps I'll have the white background to depict the white night concert. A musical instrument to also depict that this is a musical concert, not just anyhow white night concert. So we start with the caption, right? So we'll start with the main caption of the design, which is white night concert. So we'll go back and use our text tool. So this time around, I'm using the artistic text tool. So I'm not using the initial text frame. So I'll use the artistic text tool. So somewhere just at the center, right, I can just drop it. Select white, I'll type white. On another one, I can just type nice. Don't worry, we'll arrange it later. Right. So I can just type concept anywhere I want. It's my canvas, I'm free to do what I want. So we have this now, and the next thing we'll do is to make it look like what you have on this music flyer, right? So for us to achieve this, first of all, is for us to get the font right. You understand? I'll be exposing a whole lot of things on how we handle the fonts. I know they told us about the beginning, the beginning, and how to handle type. So the first thing, I want to get this particular font. You understand? For the course of this training, the font I used for the white night is I think Behus or something. So this Behus. somebody that can pronounce it can help me. But that's the font I use. And when you click on the drop down after a font name, the default font is always Arial. So when you click that, you'll be able to select different type of fonts. So let me zoom down. So you can see when I select a particular font, it changes. So it gives you that feel of, this is the font I want. Sometimes I'll just be scrolling down. I wouldn't know a font I use for Canva. I'll just say, this one looks good, this one looks nice. But for the course of this training, I will be using these Bauhaus fonts. So both for the whites and for the nights. So you can see we have similar fonts now. So the next thing for us is to, to arrange it to look somehow like this. So might not achieve a direct replica. So I'll also learn something, right? What I did here was to be able to control the two elements, which is the white and the night, right? So what I did was to select the two of them. And how did I do that? I had to hold shift to select the night and also shift to select the white. So now I can, control the two elements. And notice something, if I'm not holding down any button, it can distort the type, right? It can distort the type because the system wouldn't know what I want to maintain the same aspect, right, of the write-up. So it can distort it. So what you do in this essence, same with shapes and whatever elements you want to have a unique, maybe you want to have a unique width and the length, when you expand it, is to hold down your shift. So see what happens when I hold down my shift.
Otto, there is someone raising his hand for a question.
Okay, can the question come in when we are done?
I don't know whether I can just ask it at the moment because it's pertaining to what you're doing, sir.
All right, go ahead, someone.
Okay, I wanted you to tell us, supposing I don't know the font style, how do I kick that item and be able to sort it out? And without going through start searching for, like, how can it pick the font style from the selected character? That's what I want to know.
Okay, from a selected character.
Yes, like if you're on the white slide, that's the one you pasted on the side on the right. That's so can I select that thing and paste it on the artboard, and it will now tell me the font from that white knife I selected it as a. Does it have that like optical characters?
The design tool at the moment does not have that characteristic, right? But I know there are some websites that you upload maybe you have a flyer somewhere and you just want to know the fonts is on that flyer, you upload it on that website. That website has you need to convert JPEG to font and give you suggestion of what font type might be used. You understand? But the design itself is in image format, so you can't just copy the font from the image. But because I'm the one that designed, so I know the font I used. And what I think we should have at the back of our mind is, you have that freedom, to do whatever you think would work for you. So you have sites where you can go and, download these fonts from you, maybe using your main caption. You drop it on those sites, just try and select any font that can, suit whatever you want to do. So it's really your choice. So I will say that, so I'll just reduce the little, maintaining the aspect ratio. But notice something, my whites on the design, kind of is more clustered together, right, than what I have on what you're designing right now. So it's very important to not just drop your pride. You want to monitor um, um, that hierarchy, right? And you also want to monitor that what they're doing is clean. So I'll just go ahead to shrink in the design, and that is also called because that's the leading also. So the distance between one type character to the other. So on Affinity, how can you achieve that? And remember, we're using this project to learn as many functionality of Affinity Designer that we can also learn. So on Affinity, how to
Please, can you
achieve.
come again? Can you just take this part again? Sorry.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, if you look at what we want to achieve, guys, right, and what I have on my board, you can see that the distance, for example, between the W and the H, you understand? But what I have here is kind of is greater than what is on the design I want to replicate. You understand? So it's also important we look into details, the sizing of the fonts, like the distance between the character, and what have you. So for me to correct this, right, on Affinity Designer, so what you do is to go back to your tab layer. You see the text after edit and apply. You see the text. Sorry. So on the text, you can either use spacing, but what I normally do, right, as a shortcut for me is these I think here, this character tab, and for you to get this character tab, it's just on somewhere on the ribbon, right, with this a symbol. So when you get the character style, you'll be able to manage your typography anyhow you want it. But speaking to the shrinking that I just mentioned, so it's called tracking. Okay, it's called tracking, not leading. So you notice something when I start decreasing the tracking, the elements start coming together, right? So I just want to close up that space. So they won't be very, very far from each other. So I think 50% is fine. And I can also do minus 50%. Yeah. All right, just achieve the set. So that's it. I think I'm very, very fine with this size now. So this is where you do it. And apart from the tracking, right? So you have some other things you can do here if you want to, move up the baseline, especially when you have two or more text in the text frame. If you also want to bring two texts together, right? So use this. Okay, so this is where you have the text frame, right? So let me just copy this. Undo. Okay, so where I have the text frame like this. So this. You can see they are clustered together. So you can use the leading override. This leading is the distance between two lines of sentence. You can just use it to increase or reduce. So whatever I want to achieve. So this character pin helps you achieve that. So having said that, we'll move forward to color these white lines contrast to look like this. So on the top of my head, I wouldn't know the exact color, so anything I'm doing now probably to guess, sorry, not this, to guess the color, but I wouldn't want to do that. So I'll just use my color picker. You understand? My color picker is just this knife-like symbol, very close to the color wheel. So if I click my color picker, I can click, drag the color picker to select this exact color. And clicking the color, I'll just have exactly this color that we'll have here. So I can do the same thing for nights, and it'll be good. So we're having this exact color. So just for me to create the kind of the hierarchy between the white side and the font side. So for the font side, I'll be using the free. I think I use the free script or something. So let me make sure it's okay. The freestyle script, all right. So this is just black, so no need to do any magic. I come to my color wheel. I put black. I just try to. I'll just try to expand it to match, to stop exactly where the E stops. I think that's good. So let me just quickly clean it up. So remember how you select all. Do this. I'll make sure my E with my ruler. That's on here. This a little bit. All right. I think I'm good. Very good here. So the next you're seeing here is the praises, worship in the. So remember, when you're designing, as I also did for color, just make sure you are not using more than maximum 3 types of fonts. But if you're starting out your design, you can maintain it too. So the next thing is for us to write this praises worship in name. So you also go and borrow the capability of the text tool. So this time around, I'm using the text frame. I'll type praises, worship, then healing. So if you can see on my default, I'm having Arial as the font type. But on this my on the logo itself and the description for the logo, I'm using Lato. So what I'll do here is to change this guy to Lato. All right. Then to achieve that divider effect, just in quick trick, I'll just use capital I there. So there's no magic. So I can make sure it starts from and it's properly aligned to the text. So because this is not the focus of my design, so I'll just reduce the size of it. Somewhere around, let me say 14, 15. I'll just also make sure that all these 3 elements are properly aligned. So what I'll do is to group, because I'm done with the white night concept, I'll just put them together. So to group, you can use a shortcut Ctrl-G, or you can come to the layers pane and right click and select group. But for this training, I'll just use Ctrl-G. So you can see with Ctrl-G, I've grouped all these elements together, so I can move them
Sorry,
around.
Otto, what's the name of the fonts that are used for concerts? People are asking.
Okay, so the font I use for concerts is Freestyle Script. Freestyle Script.
What do you say? Free what?
Freestyle Script is a script font. Freestyle. So you can see it from the font name here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so this freestyle, yeah, freestyle script. So sometimes font combination, right? It goes a long way to give that caption. You tweak, especially when you want to design your main caption, right? So you can just decide, and let me use a script font against a serif font, or let me use a sans serif font with a script font. I know these font types we are also taught on the last class, right? So I won't go into details for the font type. So I'm basically done with this, with the main title. So the next thing is for me to, let me quickly work on the image. So with this, we should learn how to remove an image background. So most times we go to stock websites like Pixabay or Splash and the likes, and you see images like this. So you should know how to work with it. And the only thing I want from this image is just to extract my violin. So I'm not interested with the background, right? So on Affinity, how to do that is how I do mine, right? Or how we do it is I just select copy. I right click on, I'll select the image and I'll select copy. So why am I selecting copy? So I can isolate it from this background. So I can quickly go and see new from clipboard. So what new from clipboard means is it can quickly open an image it's saved in your clipboard. So I'll just have only the image to work with. Right. Have we gotten to this level? All right. So having this image now, and I'll make sure it's selected. So what I'll do next is, to go over to Affinity, right? So on Affinity, we'll have two personnel as being called, but what that means is one is for vector, right? One is for vector, like was properly explained to us at the last class, and one is mainly when you want to do your pixel or raster design. So Affinity also gives you that flexibility. Perhaps why I also like it, to switch to a raster tool where you can do your healing draws and likes, and also switch back to a vector tool. So in Affinity, the vector tool is called Designer, and the raster tool is called Pixel. So if I click this Pixel, you see.
Sorry, which one is the last one? Okay, I'm seeing that. Which one is the last one?
The last one. So we have Pixel here. So you can see me change from Pixel to Designer. So when you move over to Pixel, you have new set of tools. Here you can see your healing brush, your bonds, your smooth brush. I don't want us to get into details because of want of time. But to switch between the designer and the personal, remember what we want to achieve here is to teach us how we can extract just this violin from this image. Because in your real career as a graphic designer, right, to be encountering different images, you just want to extract a particular element in that image. And in Affinity, this is how we do it. Right. So I can change to the designer personnel, and I can also change to the pixel personnel. So just have that vector and pixel, in your mind that we are taught in the last class. So now I'm in pixel and I'm looking for a particular tool here in pixel, which is my selection brush tool, right? So I'll click the selection brush tool here, and I'll just hover. I'll just try and hover over the empty background. So as I'm doing that, you can see it's automatically selecting the portion of the image that has a unique kind of color. It's using color differences to select image that has unique kind of color. So if I can zoom in, you can see the selection is just mainly on this blue side that are selected. But we still have other views that are not selected inside the image. So how can I do that? So most times you zoom out, you hold down your Alt key on your keyboard. Okay, sorry, we don't need Alt here because I'm selecting the alpha images that I want to cut. So just without holding down your Alt and you're selecting the, you are still on the selection brush tool. So I can just select all these big parts. You can see selected here. So I can just select these guys, move them out. Then select here, bring it out, then select over here. So are we on the same page, guys? Or am I getting too technical? Okay, that's fine. So the next thing I'll do after selecting all this outer type is to invert this selection. You understand? You can see selecting the outer type, but what I want to achieve is to select just the violin. So I can extract it from this whole thing. So to invert the selection, I'll go back to select here and click invert pixel selection. So see what happens. It selects just the image for me. And this is what I want to work with, right? So the next thing I do here is to select refine. So it's trying to refine the image for me and remove those parts I say I don't want. So you can see the only thing we'll have on the only thing we'll have is just the violin, right? So on this my output format, I'll just say okay, we won't teach maxing on this code, but on my output format, you can just select new layer with max, right? Why we always want to select new layer with mask. I want it to be a new layer in case I want to reuse the image, and I want it to be with mask in case I still want to add part of the image that I've removed. But that will be a discussion for another day. But for just this class, you can select new layer with mask and apply. So if this is done, you just see your violin just ready for you to use it. Let's hang on, guys. I think my PC. Okay. So this is it. So I have a violin ready to use. So I'll go and selecting it. I'll just copy, Control C, or you right click and click copy. So I'll go back to my design. On my artboard, I can paste it here. Oh, seems it's very big. Okay, so we just need to reduce it to suit in the design. So I have this showing that this is a music concert. Let me just properly align the image to look like what we have here. So this is it. So if you can take home something, you can see how my image just sits at the left-hand side of the design, while I keep my text to the right. All right, so this is it. So I think we are done with the image part. So next is this divider. It's a straight one. So if you have questions, you can drop. Oh, some of your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Sorry, sir. I just wanted to know there is something like a brush across the violin. In that select over to, can I select that thing to out and will not affect the violin? This stuff that is this black, it has a black ash and the red stuff.
You get me?
Yes, that long thing. This long thing, yes. So I'm saying if I was when I'm selecting, can I select out that thing and it will not affect the rest of the violin when you were selecting?
Okay. If you are referring to this ash-like background, so
not
this
not the only ash, the whole of this. Move your mouse, just where your mouse was. The ash, okay. Black, red, this whole stuff.
The long, is it the violin?
Yes, that one. The
long one.
Yes. Suppose I wanted to remove that.
Yes, you can select it out, but if you select it out, you now have a hole there. You now use your brush, your photo manipulation to cover out that hole. But if you select it out, you just create that hole there. So if you are very, very professional, you can still use your brush and the colors, to cover those holes that you are selected, or use your healing to cover them up. But I wouldn't want us to do that here. But yes,
That's
you can do whatever you want to do with an image if you know how to do it. So who else is thinking? It's like this is my diocese of the Niger. Okay. So this is the image, right? And notice something. The image is big, right? And it's not allowing me to select other elements of the design. So what I can do here, remember I taught us how to lock a layer, and I didn't go very deep to the layer panel. So the layer panel is just similar to what we have a selection pane on Microsoft PowerPoint. So you can, if you want something to be at the end to send backward or the likes, you can just move it down or up. So you can see I can move it down below an element. I can also move it up. But for what I want to achieve, I just want to lock out this image because I'm not touching it again. So you can allow me select other elements. So I'll just click the padlock button lock. So you can see I'll be able to select all these elements here. So the next thing is this my divider. So the divider is very simple to create. Any way you want to achieve it, you can use tool. You can use your rectangle. You can use your line, right? But because I didn't teach us the line tool, let me just use rectangle to achieve this. So I have your rectangle. I remove the stroke. Remember what I told you about the color picker. I'll just use the color picker to get the same color of the stroke. What I did was to select the knife tool and drag it to where the color is. So I have the color like this. So that's what I have here. So I'll do this. I'll make it around edge. So now I'll make sure I center aligned. These guys, I'm having this feel already. So someone might be seeing this kind of a blurry stuff at the back of the image. So how I achieved that was, this should be 100% round. Please don't ask me questions. I just want to move as fast as I can. So how I achieved that was to have a duplicate of this. And remember what we did on the PowerPoint training when we are writing the OB, right? We have to have another overlay of that same OB, so we can create a kind of a virtual pleasing design. So what I'll do here to create this kind of glory or glue right behind the stroke here, I'll just have to duplicate this. To duplicate, you can either copy and paste, or you can use your, or you can hold the elements, holding down Control. You can have a duplicate of that. So what I'll do is to bring it together like this. Then on my layer pane, I would have to select the one behind because I want to blow out that one behind so it can give me that effect that I'm looking for. So I'll just select that one. So I've selected it is the one behind. There are two rectangles overlaid on themselves. So I'll just select the one behind, and I'm using my effects. Effects is just after layer, right? So using my effect, I can see the Gaussian glow. When I increase it, it gives me that glowy effect, something like this works. I think we are good, so move faster. So we are literally done with this design. So what's left for us is the 5 p.m. and this text box, and we are good to go. So to have your 5 p.m. Or to have this circle and insert a text in it. So it's very simple. You select your circle, make sure you hold down Shift. Hold down Shift. So the radius of the circle will be uniform. Using your color picker, you can pick this color here. So to be exact, pick this color here, select it, you have it. So use your text tool again, just write to 5 p.m., 5 p.m., 5 p.m. So make sure you select the same font. I think the font I use here is still this, the one I use for the white knight. So I'll just select the same fonts. All right. So the color here is white, and remember I have to shrink this together. So I go back to my character, I shrink it back to maybe -50 again, so they'll be together. Okay, this is fine. And I'll make it white. So I just have to, from my color to make it white, move it close to the circle. I'll zoom out and I'll just try and shrink it together. Then make sure it's properly and center aligned, right? So I can select the text and the circle. I'll go back to my align. I'll align them horizontally centered, vertically centered. Then I'll apply. I'll group them together. Then we are good. So I'll just look at what we have here to know how I can replicate same. So I'll also align it across this rule I have here. So all of them will be aligned on the same on the same vertical line. So the next year, I'll move to the final part of this design. Okay, we have this shadow here. Okay, so to get this shadow, so I think what I did here was to have a circle, make it black, just make it look like whatever I want it to look like. I'll click my move tool, bring it here. Now that's where the send backward comes in. You can see when I brought it here, it was on top of the the violin. So I want to send it somewhere back, and also use the blur effect, that I've taught us to give it this shadow-like effect. All right. So to achieve this, I can either use my send backward, which is here. You can see move back by one step, or move to the back. Or I can come to my layer and, with my hand, I'll just move it behind the violin. Just make it look like this, look like this, look like this. Just so I have it somewhere here. Right. So I can just come to the effects, go back to my blur, use it to create this effect, something like this. All right. Okay. So I can make it blue. All right. So I can still leave it black. Then I'll now use my opacity, right, to reduce the opacity somehow to form this effect. So just feel free to, to explore whatever I think works. So I'll just use the opacity to reduce it till I think I'm okay. So, that's how we created that. That's how I created that. That the last element of the design is this text here that shows the date and the name of the church. So I can copy and paste this text board, or as usual, hold down my control and move this here. Just somewhere here. Make sure I centrally align it with the time. I would want to type all these things here, so I'll just go back to where I have the design earlier. I'll copy the text. Go back here and paste it. So I think our design is ready. Yeah, I can start using this flyer immediately for this concert. Right. Okay. So guys, I think our design is ready to be exported. The design is ready to be exported. So one, I'll just want to teach us one more thing, and that is very, very important. So I wanted to go further, to make us see this as a project, because in real time, you might not just want to design the White Night concert, you might want to show features of different artists, and do your countdown flyer, maybe do your event DP, that they can upload their pictures to, maybe upload it for social media advertisements and the likes. Let me just show us this. So you can see I have different artboard. This is the real project I did for this church. So I have different artboard, and you can see some that have single artists. Then I know I have one, I have all the artists. So I have this, I have all the artists, right? So just to achieve this kind of stuff, like having an image, I'll still reuse it. I don't have strength to download the image from Google. So just to do that effect, so you have your shape, and let's say you have this, and I want to insert this image. I want this image to be inside this circle. It is very, very useful, especially when you have speakers of events and you want to place them in shapes, right? So it will look uniform and aligned. So what I'll do here, right? Very simple on Affinity, right? I don't need to, start doing the holding them together, trying to create mask and the like. So here in Affinity, I can simply hold the image, then drag it inside the picture. So notice something. When I go down where the shape is, I have two options, right? I can either make it go front like this. So what this means is I'm just bringing this under the shape. It doesn't change anything. So the image can just go under the shape, right? But what this means when you have this space from the shape is I'm putting it inside the shape. That's where the masking happens. So when I put it inside the shape, you can see the image is inside the shape, and just, so maybe where you have speakers or people attending an event, you can just do this. You can even add it to your design, right? Maybe do something like this, something that I'll shoot. Maybe add it somewhere. Whatever I want to achieve is fine with them. Maybe look for face space. So right here, whatever it is, it's just very, very, very open for us. So guys, I would want to draw the curtain here and taking practical case study. But I believe what this will help us do is we'll have a professional tool we can use to design. You can do this on Illustrator. I can do this on PowerPoint. Right? On Microsoft Word, yeah, I can also do this. So it's all about tool. But what we've achieved is we've taught you the basic elements, the basic principles of design. I've also taught you how to, to use a professional tool to, still achieve your design. So in the next class, we'll be working more with maybe Adobe Illustrator. And I know we'll have a very powerful instructor, that'll be on the call to, still take us through how he does his own graphic design. But guys, on Affinity Designer, this is what I do majorly, and this is how I create my design. And don't forget the process, right? I didn't speak much on the practical sections. Don't forget you have to gather your information, go to sites like Flickr. They can go to sites like Flickr. Why are you still now? Okay, so you can go to freepik.com. Let this one load. So we'll see how I even got the violin on the design. All right, so you can go this Freepik. Most of us we use it we use it on a regular basis. So I knew it was a music concert. So I came to Freepik. I was just searching out. You can type music, you see the flyers and the design selection it gives you. But I said, okay, I needed maybe a musical tool. So what I did was to type violin. Okay. So you can see as part of the results, you'll be seeing different violins. You might see this guitar and say, wow, I like this acoustic. It goes a long way to show, the music concert. So you can also want to use a saxophone. So whatever you want to use. But you can see the image I saw, it was striking to me. I had to use that image for my White Night concert design. And guys, when building and looking out for images, stock photo, make sure you're looking for a very high quality image graphics, right? This will affect you when you want to design maybe a banner that is a very large surface area in terms of printing it. So you always want to look out for very quality image, and website like Freepik will also save us here because you can get both vector images, photos, and even PSD. For those of us that are very good with Photoshop, the default save format for Photoshop is PSD. So you can get all those ones here, your mockup, and the like. Then the next one of my favorite websites is this icon website, the flat icon. So these I always go for my free icons. Icons goes a long way to show what to show us what an information holds, right? So you can search out different things, social media. Maybe you want to show a location, you want to show an email as an icon. So you can just really come to this website, use the search, and get what you want. So I have a lot of them on my list that I use for my research. And I've also included ChatGPT. So you can see if I just on the foot, I see a lot of them. I see where I get logo inspiration from, where I get vectors from, where I get VPN. So you might just want to build up as a designer now, and you might just want to build up your Chrome, so have all these icons there. And that is that. So finally, as an advice for me, if you're starting out, make sure you join design communities, Facebook, Instagram. So you just see people doing some badass or some creative stuff that you want to make good use of, or maybe in the future or in the projects I'm working on. Communicate to these guys. Ask them, how did you come up with the design? What is your thought process? You just go a long way to keep on growing and to be a better designer. All of us are not yet there. But we are, always working towards to, be a better version of ourselves. So finally, for the training is to export this design. If I give it to you like this, you won't understand it, right? It will still be in Affinity format. So only those that have Affinity design will be able to open it. So if I want to export, I'll just select my artboard. Just for clarity, right? I want to rename the artboard. So on the layer, I'll just double click. Design training. Okay. So I'm selecting the artboard that I've just named design training. I can go to file, click export. All right, so it will lead us to exporting to several formats, right? So all these things are different file formats I can export to. Some of them are text files. Some of them are vector files, right? Some of them are pixel files. Even the beauty of Affinity, I can also export a design as PSD. Someone using Photoshop and Illustrator can just start interacting with the PSD format. But for the course of this training, we export our file as a JPEG. A JPEG is just an image format, right? PNG is also an image format. If you don't want to see the background, you want just your image to be transparent, right? Especially when you're designing logo. Then you have the GIF, the text, TIFF. This is when most times, if I'm building for a very large print, I just want to do this as TIF because Corel Draw can also interact with it. Then PSD, no PDF. Maybe if you're doing go-to and print design, SVG, also vector, EPS, and some other file formats, depending on what you want to achieve. So these are expressive, guys. Just make sure the area you're selecting your artboard. So I had different selection areas. I select the whole document, but I renamed my design training, so I have to show of selecting the right artboard. Wow.
So will this to give out a high definition file?
Yes, it will. It will. You can. My battery is 10%, so my computer might go off anytime. But it will give a very high definition file. But guys, my PC is off now. I don't know. I'll have to go and switch on my gen. But be that as it may, I'll share the final export of the file. I'll share for everyone to see. But that size there, I can tweak the size to maybe if I'm building for print, I can change the pixels maybe 9,000 by maybe by 12,000 or by 10,000, just to give me a very high large file and high quality file. I can play around with the quality. I can reduce it to 20. I can reduce it to 10. So whatever you need to have your design, you know what you're designing for. That's more important before you even start organizing your elements. You know the quality you want to depict. So you can select, or you are free. That's why it's a professional design platform. But more importantly, you will not go and depend on the quality, right? And start using blurry image or image we don't save image from Chrome from Google like that. So when you save image from Google, or maybe you want to search an image, just save it or copy it from Google, it tends to be blurry and pixelated. So we make sure we go to a stock site, get it as a vector or a very high quality JPEG. So when you're going to print, it will still be top notch, and you still have that sweet flavor of that particular picture. So guys, I'll be drawing the curtain here, for Daniel to continue, but I'll take in questions if any. And I'm very, very open if you join the graphics design team, to still take us through, not just Affinity Designer, Illustrator, Photoshop, whatever tool you want to use to achieve a good design, so you can interact both on the WhatsApp chat or privately. You can just call me privately, right? So, and that will be it for now. So thank you, Daniel, for an SP for the platform. I'm still a proud XP member, and I'm always, open for further training. Guys, we'll get it better next time. All these little glitches, we won't see it. We'll be able to enjoy a good training. So thanks everyone on the call. Thanks for the time. Thanks for having me. And that will be all from me. Over to you, Daniel.
Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you so much, Otto, for that very informative session. I'm very sure it has been very insightful for everyone on the call, taking them on a very, very, very important journey on their wish or their journey to be better designers. So for the next part of this session, it's going to be taken by, it's the end of the session, it's going to be taken by Jerry very quickly. It's over to you, Jerry. You're muted, Jerry, if you're trying to talk.
Where is everybody?
Apologies, waiting on Jerry. Are you on the call?
I don't see any Jerry.
No. His name is Atoja Aurelio. You're muted if you are trying to talk. Okay. Since Jerry is not here, it's pretty late already. It's 8:30, I'll be 6:30. The next session was just to do a simple Kahoot quiz, just to ensure that you guys understood what Otto taught today and share an assignment for the next session. So for the people that submitted the assignments from the last class, it's already pretty late for us to start the review session. So what we'll do is to do that as the first thing from the next session, just before we get into the next two. So for next week, we'll be working on using Illustrator. And for those that joined the first class, you'll know that we divided the tools into their strengths. One is the vector and one is for the raster. And so what you've done today, actually, Affinity actually has like strengths in both of them. It's like the middle ground, you can do both. But Illustrator, like I told you last week, that's its own core. And so your journey so far has focused more on the raster-based images kind of thing, flyers and all. And so the next session will tell you more on logo design and infographics and illustrations. So it's going to be very, very informative and to take you on a very different trajectory on your path to being a designer. So Jerry, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay. Do you want to take the Kahoot now? Just for
Yes.
session?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we don't need to go through the designs again.
Yes, we'll do that first thing in the next session, just because of time.
Okay, then. All right. Okay, so can I share my screen?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let me just share this again. Sorry. Let me share my screen. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. I just want to welcome you to this section of the quiz section. It's going to take about 10 minutes. So just go to kahoot.it. If you can hear me, just go to kahoot.it, and the game pin is 1112825. So I'll be waiting for you guys to join. Hello, guys. Are you joining?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I can see. Okay. I see. Okay. Okay, I have 2 participants already.
Please wait for me. Wait for me, please.
I have Casey. Just 2. Keep joining, guys. You have 3 people.
Please, I'm coming.
Okay. Okay, V just joined. That's 5. Okay, so just to give you guys a heads up, so this quiz is going to take learnings from what we learned last week as well as this week. So it's kind of merging both knowledge together for today's quizzes. Actually, a very simple one. So I know we're going to do very well. So we have 7 people. I have Casey, Macha, Du, V, Bastel, UO, and Kosh. 7 people. I'll just wait for 2 to 3 more people to join, then I start the quiz. Jackson, okay, 2 more to go.
I think you can go ahead, Jerry.
Okay, I think I can go ahead. Okay, let's start. So the name of the quiz, Affinity Design. The first question, what is Affinity Designer? Is it a photo editing software, a video editing software, a 3D modeling software, or a vector graphics editor? I have 5 answers. 6 answers. Okay, a vector graphics editor. Let's see our scoreboard. So Casey is leading. Let's go. Okay, on to the next one. Question number 2. Which platform is Affinity Designer not available on? So we have Mac OS, we have Windows, we have Android, we have iPad OS. Which platform is Affinity Designer not available on? 5 answers already. 6 responses. Hey, let's go to our scoreboard. So the answer is Android. So it's not available on Android. It's only available on Mac OS, Windows, and iPad. Okay, Casey is still leading with 1,691 points, followed by Du. So let's go. What 5 formats does Affinity Designer support? We have the PSD and AI, MP4 and MOV, JPEG and GIF. Then we have text and XML. Which 5 format does Affinity Designer support? 5 responses, 6 responses. 6, 7 responses. Okay, so the correct answer is the first option, PSD and AI. So let's see our scoreboard again. Casey still leading, closely followed by Du. Let's go. Question number 4. Which of the following is not a step in the design process? Collect information, you study, research, build design concepts. 4 answers. 5 answers. 7 responses. The correct answer is study. So we have collect information, you have to research, build your design concepts, right? Okay, our scoreboard again. Casey, Du has gone down and V is up, closely following Casey. Okay, let's go ahead. Question number 5. Where can you go for design ideas? Is it Telegram? Is it SP? Is it Yahoo? Is it FreePic? This is a kind of a tricky question though. Wow, we all got this right. 7 responses. Let's see our scoreboard. Yeah, Casey is still up there. Okay, now time with V. Okay, let's move ahead. Question number 6. Which of the following is not a feature of Affinity Designer? Which of the following is not a feature of Affinity Designer? Vector drawing and illustration tools, non-destructive effect and adjust video editing tool, typography tool. 6 answers. Okay, 4 people got it right. It's not a video editing tool. Okay, our scoreboard again. Wow, Casey, you're still up there. Nobody has been able to chance you out. Okay, let's move ahead. Question number 7. Which of the following alignment is used in designs? Is it top? Is it middle? Is it bottom? Is it justified? Which of the following alignment is used in designs? Seven responses, 5 correct. So we have justified, center, left, and right. Okay, so justified is the correct answer. Okay, back to our scoreboard. Case is still up there. Nobody is getting close. I can see V, then Kosh. Let's move on. Question number 8. Which of the following color scheme is more suitable for print designs? The Lab, ROBG, GRV, CMYK. So we'll know those who are paying attention in class. Only 3 responses. 4 responses. 5. So how many people paid attention? Just 1 person paid attention. Okay. So CMYK is more suitable for print designs, whereas ROBG is more suitable for digital designs, like the one for your social media, Facebook and the rest. Okay, back to our scoreboard. KC is still there, giving a very wide gap to V, followed by Kosh. So, second to last question. The following are tools in Affinity Design, except, so we are shown the Move tool, the Artistic tool, the Format, and the Zoom. Which one of them is not a tool in Affinity Design? 5 responses, 6 responses. Let's see the correct ones. So the correct answer is Format. Format is not a tool in Affinity Design. Okay, back to our scoreboard. KC still up there. No one is coming close. Okay, let's see how we do with the last question, which is a bonus question. The last question. Who was the facilitator for today's graphic design masterclass? Is it Daniel? Is it Uche? Is it Otto? Is it Aurelio? Hope you know your facilitator. Don't fall my hand. 4 answers. Five responses. Okay, 5 responses and 4 correct ones. So Octo facilitated today's class on affinity design. Okay, so let's see our final scoreboard. Okay, committed is Kosh, followed by V. Then our winner for today, Kahoot, is KC with 7,726 points. So we have KC, we have V coming second, and we have Kosh with 5,578 points. Okay. So we've come to the end of today's Kahoot. Yeah, the winners just identify themselves on the group chat. They will take it up from there. Thank you. Okay, I can stop sharing now.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Jerry.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if you do have the slides showing the assignments that Otto had.
Okay, I think I have it.
Yeah, you can just share it so they can see it. So I think the assignment for this week is you guys use the same tool that you learned today.
Yes, design.
Or,
Okay, let me.
Okay, yeah, please share.
Let me share that.
And then you design a flyer for your church. Yeah. So you can just.
Okay, yeah. So this is the assignment for today's class. So you can use Affinity Designer or any tool of your choice. Hope
Yeah,
it's
so
well noted. Yeah.
Simeon, you can just put the email address on the group chats, the SP email address, so that they know where they can send the assignment. So those that sent for last week, we've received them. I saw some really nice design. You can just scroll through them, Jerry.
Okay.
I saw some really nice designs from a lot of you. And
Okay,
I was even wondering if it was PowerPoint that you guys use or other tools. It was really good. So we will review them next week. So you can see this one.
Let me share that.
GRV was so good. So I'm looking forward to seeing your designs for this week.
Yeah, so I have this from Glory.
Yes, please just run through them.
Then from Mejirogene, from Ushe, so many GRV fans. Then from Anita, from Davida, and from Keneshuku, then from Emmanuel.
Yes, so you guys seem like professional designers already. I mean, look at the work that's coming out from just one class. So it's mind blowing if you tell people that you had just one class and you're doing this already. So I'm really excited to see what you come up with for this second assignment, because now you have more information, more resources, and I'm sure you will do better designs, more creative designs in your next assignment. So look forward to it. Thank you so much once again for joining the session. Thank you so much to our facilitator and teacher for today, Otto. And thank you to the design team in the SPYP group. And we really appreciate the efforts, because it's not easy to put together such an event. And so that brings us to the end of today's session. If you have any question, please feel free to drop them on the group chat. Feel good dropping on the group chats, and you have people that would support you throughout your journey. Thank you, and bye for now.
Okay, bye. Good night, everyone. Have a lovely evening.